Welcome to the Film Girly Lifestyle. This is unfiltered film commentary from an unfiltered woman. Today, we are yapping about The Substance. I just can't be rushed. I am late to the party, and I know that, but last night I did sit down to finally watch it, and my biggest regret is that I didn't go to a cinema. Seeing this movie in theaters would have been an experience. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you like girls and if you like movies and you like girls who talk about movies.
And if you like girls who work in movies, because I do all those things.
I feel like I'm nervous about the sound. It's quite echoey in here. I'm a bit scared. But enough about me. Let's get into The Substance. So to refresh your memory, The Substance follows a fading celebrity that takes a black market drug cell-replacing substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. Written and directed by Coralie Fargeat. She's French. Okay, this movie premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, and I think it won Best Screenplay. It comes up on the title screen at the beginning of the movie. But not only that, this movie is up for Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards, which is huge because as a horror girly, to see a horror movie written and directed by a woman up for Best Picture, not only that, it's starring the amazing Demi Moore and Little Miss Thing, who I love, Margaret Qualley. I love her so much. Margaret Qualley lore, she is married to Jack Antonoff, who is besties with Taylor Swift. But also, she's incredibly talented. So let's start at the beginning, because the opening image, what a choice. As soon as I laid eyes upon that screen, I knew I was about to experience true cinema. A yellow egg on the bright blue background describing the substance. Already know, as an audience, that this is going to be something to do with twins or cloning. You know that twins are made in one of two ways. The egg splits in two, or two separate eggs are fertilized. So just preface that I watched this movie without any clue as to what I was about to experience. The only thing I knew about this movie was that it had a strong feminist message and it starred Demi Moore. And that it was body horror, like for the most part, body horror. To me, I just like associated with the Saw movies. Like, I love gore. I'm a horror girly. Like, give it to me, you know? I love a good slasher. But I didn't really understand that it was going to be like leaning into the medical side of body horror with trigger warning needles and stitching and injections and other things, amongst other things. So that's all that I really knew about The Substance going into it. Immediately after that, Coralie takes us into a sequence of storytelling while introducing us to our main character. So our main character being Elizabeth Sparkle, Demi Moore. I keep wanting to say Robin Sparkle, so if that happens, I apologize. Having fun is what it's all about. Elizabeth Sparkles, no relation to Robin. Okay, so we go through this sequence of events on her star on the Walk of Fame, which is such good storytelling. There's like not a single line of dialogue. Sequence of events that occurs on her Hollywood star throughout the years, and I just felt like that was so real. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been to the Hollywood Walk of Fame and I have seen stars and I'm like, I don't know who that person is, but they're immortalized here on the Walk of Fame, and I feel like I should know what, like, who am I paying my respects to? It's almost like it feels like a tombstone. And we definitely get that, and it's definitely made clear. But it just ends up looking like a bloody mess. That's the only way to put it. A bloody mess, 100% foreshadowing the end of the film. Oh my gosh, as a filmmaker, I love the way she bookended this movie, because that is like something I want to execute in my own movies. So then we are introduced to Dennis Quaid, whose character is known as Harvey. And Harvey is like the network CEO or showrunner of the production that Demi Moore's character Elizabeth Sparkles is on. Her show is an 80s themed dance aerobic fitness class. Think Richard Simmons, think Carmen Electra. Really just highlighting that she is a fading star, because I almost thought for a moment that this movie was taking place in the 80s. But then once I seen the iPhones come out, I was like, oh, okay, so it's really just trying to reinforce the idea that she is not able to let go of her youth because she can't even evolve as an artist and let go of that aesthetic of her prime era. Holy mother of God, this movie's so good. Okay, so anyway, Dennis Quaid's a showrunner, and he's a pig. He's scum of the earth. He is every disgusting Harvey Weinstein Coralie! Coralie! His name is Harvey, you guys. His name is Harvey! I love film. I just wanted to say that I really loved all of the super tight close-up shots. They're like almost fisheye shots of him. Within the first scene, we realize that he is planning on ending her career, essentially. And he's not nice. He's not gentle. He's straight up like, you've had your moment, you're ugly, you're old, and now we need someone young and hot, and we gotta get rid of you. So bye-bye. After that, it cuts to a fly in what I believe is Demi Moore's wine glass. And I just think that was the initial like nail in the coffin. Flies often represent in literature and poetry and other prose, death. Flies represent death. It was the nail in the coffin for me. I'm like, we know that this movie from that moment is going to end with Demi Moore's death. It is him firing her that sets off a catalyst of incidents that lead Demi Moore, Elizabeth Sparkles, to the substance. Also, it's literally her birthday, okay? So he literally fires her on her birthday. What the hell, man? Like, read the room. So on her birthday, not only does she get fired, she gets in a car crash, okay? She crashes her goddamn car, and, you know, she gets sent to the hospital, and at the hospital, there's a nurse who takes care of her, and he gives her this weird, like, final exam that the doctor did not instruct him to do. And so I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? What is happening here? Who is that man? Is he coming back? Is he important? She even then has a really awkward interaction with someone that she went to like high school with, and he's like kind of like a freaky fan. We'll come back to Fred. So after all that, he has been slipped by the nurse little USB stick that has introductory video on it to the substance, and she plays it and she watches it and then she throws it out. There's lots of shots of things going in and out of that trash can too, which I just loved. And something that I wanted to talk about was the coloring of the substance, because for some reason that I haven't, like I said, I'm not done any research, I have no idea why, but the substance is associated with the color yellow, and a lot of that is reflected in the costumes and production design. So once Demi Moore ultimately decides that, you know what, fuck this, I am gonna take the substance, I'm not above that, I'm gonna take it. She calls the number that she's been given, and she goes to the designated pickup spot. But as she's walking over there, she's in that yellow coat, and I just thought that was such a fantastic choice. Not only that, but when she's walking through the alleyway, there's like a bunch of yellow trash, yellow things that have been discarded. I think there was like one of those tops of a truck, you know, that you put on like the back of the truck. Anyway, loved seeing that the substance was like haunting her, and it was almost like it was already a part of her because of the costumes and the production design. Essentially, she's given a DIY kit that contains the substance. Then there are a set of rules. You activate once, you stabilize every day, and you switch every 7 days. And then at the bottom it says, remember, you are one. So I was thinking, okay, she's like gonna have a clone of herself that she can like drive, like she can get into like the meat suit and just be like hot and young. I don't know. Ultimately, Demi Moore does not get control of her new avatar that she births. Talk about that a bit more, because that scene is incredible. Not only is it like a bit uneasy to watch because of all of the body horror, like how she has to even just inject herself with the substance to activate. Like, needles are hard for a lot of people. I didn't enjoy that. Once she does birth her new self out of her own spine, she has to stitch herself back up. The new self has to stitch back up the older self. Oh my god, this sounds insane if you haven't seen the movie. There was so much of this happening, like, within the frame. Whether it was, like, lights on the ceiling, or lines on the road, or our character, Demi Moore, being in a long hallway. So beautifully shot. I love a good line. I love a good parallel line. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Film girly in me was freaking out because I recognized that this was a motif to her spine. Like all of the lines in the shots and in the scenes that we were getting were reminder of what she had done and what she was about to do. I just really loved seeing that in all of the cinematography. I really thought she was going to have a skin suit to climb in and out of, though, for real. Because of her impending doom, because Elizabeth Sparkles is on the way out and she knows this, she's seen the ad in the paper, for the next Elizabeth Sparkles. What does the new clone do? Immediately, Margaret Qualley, Sue, she goes out and auditions to be the next Elizabeth Sparkles. I just wanted to talk about the flame cut scene. Like, it's not even a real scene, it's like a frame, but the flame, and then it would turn into a shape. And I really think that Coralie did that to break the film up into acts instead of like writing act one, act two, act three. Because like we get these random shots where it's like a fire and then it turns into a heart. And then there's another scene where there's fire and it evolves into the dragon going down her spine that is on the robe that she is wearing, which again reinforcing the substance, the use of the substance. That was just something that I thought of, like maybe that was what she was doing with those frames. I don't know, just some thoughts. Let me know if anybody else picked up on that. The whole thing with the substance is that she needs to go and like refill, she needs the refill kits, and they also have to switch. They cannot not switch because they're feeding off each other. And so there is a balance that needs to be maintained. I really thought that Sue was gonna be like demonic or something, like that there was gonna be this like she's actually evil, she has no soul because she's a clone or something. But the saddest thing is that it's her, and it's what she would do to herself. Imagine trying to control a younger version of yourself. As this balance gets disrupted, Demi Moore starts to physically fall apart. The one thing that she never wanted to become, the substance is just accelerating that because she cannot control her younger self when they switch. We get this amazing scene where we realize that the nurse who targeted her with the substance is also a user. My favorite scene in the movie is Elizabeth Sparkles decides she is going on that date with high school buddy who remembered her after all those years. What was his name? Fred. That scene when she's in the bathroom and she's like literally trying to scrub her face clean, and she's taking makeup on and she's putting makeup on, she's adding and removing, and it just gets to this breaking point where she feels like she's like pulling, I want to pull my hair out of my scalp. Like, I feel like I know that feeling. I feel like every woman has been there when you're getting ready to go out and you just feel like absolute dog crap about yourself, and you're staring at yourself in the mirror and you're just thinking, you ugly dumb. And normally I collect myself and I go out still. But Demi Moore did not do that. But I think that scene is so incredibly vulnerable, and it's definitely the reason why she's up for Best Actress. It is the reason why she won her Golden Globe. She ate up this role. And I know 100% it's because she has experienced it. She has been there, and she is the perfect person to play Elizabeth Sparkles. This is also touching on that theme, on the theme of that we eat away, or like our younger selves will eat away at us as women. It's not only about how Harvey is a piece of dog shit. It's also about how that patriarchy, that misogynistic mindset, puts women in this position where we will let our youth eat at us. I'm turning 30 next year, so I'm so glad that I saw this movie, because I really do feel like I'm falling into that societal pit of, oh my God, I am aging. Like, I'm 30. Like, I'm not 20s. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm old. I need retinol. I need collagen. I need Botox. I need lip filler. I need to fix this. I need to change this. Like, that has been running through my mind actively as I get closer to 30. So that's stupid. And my favorite line in the entire movie is, of course, you wouldn't exist without me. I also love during that scene when she's eviscerating the turkey that she strongly resembles a witch or like an old crone. I just think that it's on the, and all of these little moments throughout the movie, where Coralie's like, no, like literally this is the patriarchy, is like when Sue meets her neighbor at the door and he goes from an angry asshole to a drooling dog, to when Sue actually has a boyfriend towards the end of the film. He knocks on the bathroom door to check on her and he's like, are you just cranky because of your lady business? Like, things that have actually been said to women, things that have from the mouths of men, are, she doesn't hold back. She puts it all in this movie. It's amazing. The whole movie is just hyperbole of how we as women eviscerate ourselves, and the brutality that we show ourselves. And the fact is that every single time, most women would choose destroying what we have left of ourselves, feel like we are of value in this world. Smile! Pretty girls should always smile at that point. She has literally no teeth. It's crazy. So, Sue being the replacement for Elizabeth Sparkles makes the most sense. We need to talk about the auditions though, because there is a line that is delivered very intentionally. Wow, too bad she doesn't have a third boob on her face instead of that nose. Like shit that men probably have most definitely 100% said in casting sessions. And what ends up happening is Monster a la Sue. Unhinged, campy horror. It's quite literally a bloodbath, but the most important moment in that scene is when she's on stage and she grows a boob out of her face and it plops onto the ground in front of the entire audience. Calling back to that audition that she had, oh, too bad she doesn't have a third boob on her face instead of that nose. Like, Coralie is literally not having it with this movie. She said, oh yeah, I heard that one. You want a third boob? I'll give you a third boob. After the most insane, blood splattering, gooey monstrosity of a grand finale, we end up right back where we started. Because all that's left of Sue is a wee little bit of Elizabeth Sparkles, who, with everything in her being, slips and slides her way back to her star. I just couldn't help but think that it looked like Medusa. It would make sense because Medusa's whole mythology is about a pretty girl who gets turned into a monster. And I think that was intentional, but I also don't know if I'm just like reading it into my own perspective. But I really looked at that and I was like, that looks like a Gorgon, that looks like Medusa, you know what I mean? And then the last thing that I wanted to yap about was the palm trees, because the whole movie we're getting these cut shots, almost cut scenes to the palm trees, and it doesn't make sense until that very last shot when what's left of Sue slash Elizabeth Sparkles is looking up from the star on the Walk of Fame and there's palm trees above her. And in that moment, maybe it's like her final moment of peace where there's like sparkles coming down from the palm trees on top of her star. We realize at the end that it was, foreshadowing where she ultimately ends up. And I'm just like, is that really happening? Is she really seeing that? Is that just like her finally at peace because she feels like she's like she was when she first got her star? And I don't know, I'm just gonna have to sit on that, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. I've been sitting here talking for an hour, so I think that my time is up. With that being said, I'm obviously a fan of Coralie Fargeat. Just mad I didn't go to the cinema. I'm just mad I didn't go to the cinema. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. You being here means a lot to me. That's all. Thanks for watching. Bye!